Well, that actually leads into my second question, or maybe answers it already. I'm not sure.
Well, I tried to talk as long as possible to limit the number of questions.
All three of us today have allowed for many kinds of government intervention in the economy. And as you're, I'm sure, very well aware, Americans have a visceral reaction, partly justified, partly perhaps not, about anything labeled with socialism. Now, given that all of us support some government intervention, and given the what I think at least is a need for helping Catholics move beyond capitalism, why would you call what you advocate socialism when you know that socialism is not going to go anywhere under that name, at least?
Well, it's pretty obvious I've been running my career to be as successful as a neoclassical economist as possible, and I just thought that I would sell more books. Obviously going around saying, pointing out policies that were developed by socialist economists or that are partly steps towards socialism in America, you want to not use the S word. I mean, that almost goes without saying. I mean, it was embarrassing, actually, this last election when the Republicans were lining up to call Barack Obama a socialist. I mean, my problem is that he's not nationalizing the banks. That should have been done right away, and then breaking up into banks that actually collect deposits, make loans to people who do productive things, and get rid of all the nonsense. And then you do what Sweden did, privatize them and have them as small operations, but not as these huge gambling operations that serve only those who already have billions of dollars. So it was sort of embarrassing the way that happened. I'm going to do something really unusual and agree with Mike Novak again, although he hasn't really brought it up here now. But as important an issue as economic participation is the issue of political participation. And our political system is dominated by corporations and people with money. And we can't really be a democracy unless we somehow figure out a way that people can participate at a much greater level. Now, in the last election, we had this huge increase, and it was something very different. But that should be the bad year. That should be, we should have that level of engagement and not have the people look at, well, my private life and my business life I'm interested in, but my role as a citizen in participating is something that I can shirk on and not have to participate in. Social participation is a good and something we want to promote, and we would need an even higher level of social engagement the more we would have collective groups or the government play a role in terms of solving economic problems. So that's certainly an issue that is important to keep an eye on, because you just don't want to trade one set of oligarchy, the Bill Gates of the world, who didn't really come up with any idea. He got that idea from someone else. His mother brokered the deal. And he's been able to monopolize ideas as if he created them and owned them, and make us all pay him money because he controls the ideas. Just imagine if I got a patent on the word "the," or even better, make me rich, the word "like." I'd own every teenager. But this idea that we can, they had someone on TV the other day on the NCAA, and if I say Final Four, I think I have to pay them money. I mean, the way that we have taken things like ideas and concepts and turned them into marketable objects that one person or company can control and restrict the use of everyone else from using it unless they play by their rules is just way out of hand. At one time, Bill Gates and Microsoft were working that we would have to pay them a nickel for every email that we sent. He was convicted of violating the law on monopoly. I mean, this is not someone who I have an idea, I built a better mousetrap, and the world beat the door to beat the path to my house. I mean, we have to come up with better examples than Mr. Bill Gates. course, my computer will crash when I get home because I'll have heard of that, but thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Can I ask Professor Novak to come to the podium, and would Mr. Storck ask a few questions of Professor Novak?
You made clear in your presentation that capitalism was a new thing that came into existence sometime around toward the end of the 18th century, and then it wasn't either property, which had always existed, or